Imagine having an AI-powered search engine for candidate profiles from across the open web and even from within your own ATS. Well, that's exactly what HireTool is. HireTool is a global talent platform that serves all recruiters, from small businesses to the world's largest enterprises. And with 750 million plus profiles from over 45 open web sources and channels and 30 plus integration partners, there's literally something for everyone. Recruiters can find more talent with AI sourcing, send unlimited emails, and integrate with your favorite recruitment tools all in one platform. If you're spending hours looking for qualified candidates, underrepresented talent, and updated contact information, then HireTool is probably what you need for your toolkit. HireTool is a platform that helps great recruiters accomplish more every single day. Check them out at hiretool.com.
What's up, HR Famous Nation? I don't know that we've ever used that phrase to describe the people. HR Famous Nation, what's up? That's a very sports-like term. It's Jessica Lee here with my friends, Tim Sackett, Chris Dunn. It is the height of summer, which means it is also the height of the Summer Olympics, delayed by 1 year. But, you know, there's that little thing.
But you think it's weird? Do you think it's weird that like the whole 2020 Olympics versus, can't you just like make it like 2021 Olympics? Like, why?
I think it's confusing. Yes, they keep calling it the 2020 Olympics, yet it is 2021. Like, what's with that?
Is it that you're like already had t-shirts printed or something? Like, just come on. Like,
I mean, I'm sure that's what it was. A warehouse full of things. Like, what are you going to do? You can't like go get everything reprinted. Plus the supply chain is a mess right now. So there is that. Well, guys, I am obsessed with the Olympics right now. And I want to hear like, what are you guys watching? And I want to share with you kind of some of the cool things that I have that I wasn't expecting to come out of the Olympics, just the experience. So, Mr. Dunn, they don't have like the pull-ups competition of like, can you do 100 like pull-ups in whatever time frame? Not yet. It could be coming, but what are you watching?
So the thing I wanted to watch most, JLee, NBC put behind a paywall. So men's basketball, pool play, they put on the Peacock channel, not the free version, the subscription version.
They got to make some money.
Yeah, they're trying to convert. Guess, like, you want to take a guess whether they converted me or not, JLee?
Nah.
That would be a no. So, you know, I watch what the rest of America's watching, right? Prime time, maybe 8 to 10 Central Time, JLee. I like plow into whatever's going on. And, you know, first weekend, that means a lot of swimming, means a lot of gymnastics. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to track and field. I dig track and field more than I like the spectacle of the swimming and the gymnastics. I like those, but really looking forward to track and field.
You can identify with it. You're a runner and you're like, oh, yes.
I will say this. I will say this. I think I watched synchronized swimming.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, synchronized diving.
Oh,
diving.
Yes.
And there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I always love, Katie, when they like you watch it and I'm like, it looks like they were pretty damn close, and people are like, oh my god, that's awful. And you're like, what? Did I miss something? I didn't. Like, what did I not see? Like,
right, and everybody's a critic. Yeah. Everybody's a critic, right? So it's like it's off by like 1/32 of a second going in. It's like, oh, you know, the Eastern European judges. The kids don't know what that means, but that used to be a thing back in the communist bloc. So there's that. And then the other thing that was notable is, you know, I didn't look it up. I should have. Like, why do they take showers like right after that?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Oh, so, well, because Bobby J, I was like, why are they showering? My kids were like, why are they showering? So the showers emit warm water, and it's meant to just keep their muscles loose. So they like stay in there, keep the muscles loose, and, you know, they don't.
Because when you hit the pool, it's cold water, so the muscles tighten, so they come back out, so they can be
good to know. So there's that camera shot, and then I'll flip it back. The other camera shot is they have with two people in the pool. They have like this blue lagoon shot from the bottom of the pool. Just like, okay, like I guess that's dramatic. I guess that's just a digital camera down there. You don't need an FTE to run that camera. So I can just see Bob in the truck saying, "Hey, Ernie," she's like, "Okay, panoramic shot. Let's go above. Okay, now give me the Blue Lagoon shot from the bottom. Thanks. And now we're going to the showers."
In the
You
little
know
mini
what's
hot
that?
tub, the little mini hot tub they sit in.
Oh yeah, the hot tub is good, but the synchronized diving. So like when my kids saw it, first of all, they were like, "Why are their swimsuits so small?" And I was like, "Well, yes, it's just streamlined." And what they were really, really amused by was I think a lot of the teams had like their flags on their butt, and so they were like, "There's a flag on their butt. What's going on?" So they just that when you watch with a 4 and 6-year-old, the things you get to talk about, and
I,
also by the way, like nothing about their performance because I have nothing valuable to add, but like these dudes are really ripped. Bobby J and I were like, these guys have like 8-packs and they're so lean, and when you are like 18 to 24 you can have an 8-pack, but we were just like, Jesus Christ, like these dudes are like real ripped. It's
Yeah,
very
they're
impressive.
jacked.
They're
hey, by the way,
jacked.
the Chinese synchronized diving men team, they need to like get a sponsorship for some man grooming.
I don't-
It did not come out well. I'm just
Well,
gonna
that's the
say.
thing with when it's HD TV now, you see everything, and I think people
Yeah.
don't realize like, okay, everything's there. So Tim, you clearly have watched synchronized diving and noticed grooming habits of certain athletes. What else are you watching?
Oh, I mean, we have a couple of kids that swim, and Coop still swims competitively. So the swimming thing we've been on like crazy, and then gymnastics. I'm not a huge gymnastics, but Kim is, and Cameron, the producer, shout out to Cam, is a huge in gymnastics. They love that. But the swimming stuff, literally like on the edge of our seats, because you follow these kids for so long, having kids in swimming. And see, and everything is like hundreds of a second. Like these people work their entire like 4 years, and then they like, oh, I didn't medal by 1/100th of a second. And you just want to go, if you just didn't cut your fingernails, you would have won the medal. Like what? It's so insane to me that it's that close.
It is that close. Shout out to Katie Ledecky, who's from the DMV area, grew up swimming in the county that we live in. And so she is a hometown hero and
Monster.
favorite, a
It's
total
awesome.
beast. It is crazy. But you guys, this is what I realized is so cool about the Olympics this year is with Beck and Una being 4 and 6, they didn't really understand what it was. And so like just being able to bring them along to watch is so cool, and like explaining to them what all these sports are. And some of them are really bizarre to have to explain. So just kind of seeing their joy in it, but there's also like the geography and the politics of it all, like talking about countries, like they're learning how to identify flags and like the idea of a refugee team. There's just so many interesting things for kids where it's like, wow, we can actually learn a lot while we sit in front of the
I have
tube.
a question for you two, if you guys know this. So before the Olympics, the Russian team got kicked out of the Olympics because of doping.
Yep.
But then they all showed up under a different name without the flag, and they're still doped up, and they're winning all these events. And I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss something? There was like a handshake agreement, like, hey, we're no longer Russia. Don't look the other way. We're the Russian Olympic Committee. Like, what? Like, you're all the same people. I don't get this.
I don't quite get that either, but they're, performing under the ROC, the ROC. That's kind of, I don't understand it. But it's
understand.
cool. It's cool though, explaining to these kids like what's happening. And I don't think we talked about this last time, but the other thing that I feel like I thought was really cool is like we're rooting for Korean teams, but obviously we're rooting for American athletes, and like being like having this duality of being able to cheer for multiple nations. And then the other thing that we've also found is interesting, at a certain point, I don't actually care who we're rooting for. Like I'm rooting for certain underdogs, or you're just excited to see who's going to win. And so there's a sportsmanship element that we've been talking about of like, because the kids are like, well, aren't you like, don't you want USA or Korea to to win every time. And I'm like, no, like if you just want to see good performance and these people, we should be happy for them regardless of what flag they're flying under. So that's been fun to teach some valuable life lessons to my littles, and also have to explain why, certain sports require you to wear tiny swimsuits. And then, when they get older, Tim will talk about the grooming elements that,
So I think the US team had like 661 athletes. And my guess is that's like the max. I don't, maybe not. I don't know exactly how many you can have if you maxed out. And because there were some other teams, obviously big teams like the Russian team, Chinese team, Japanese team have a lot of athletes. I was surprised at how many Americans are playing, are participating for other countries. And like,
yeah.
if you took a look at how many like American athletes are actually participating, it has to be over 1,000. Like they're like,
I'm
oh,
sure.
here's this dude from Switzerland and he like whatever. And they interview him and I'm like, he's American. Like there's no accent there at all.
Yeah. Or they train here, right? Like they train here and then they're going back to compete with their home country, which is interesting. But loving the Olympics, loving it, and can't wait for track and field, Chris. Like that will be seeing these superhuman speeds. That will be fun. And then it'll be over. The flame will be dimmed and we'll have to wait for wintertime to come. But how fun to see all these kids and people's hard work paying off, as well as like interesting things like from a DEI perspective, like Tokyo having the first Olympic Games where there was a woman and a male and female flag bearer, and they split the duties for every single country for the first time because they wanted to have some equality. The U.S. team, I don't know if this was the first year ever, but a lot of commentary around the number of female athletes being the majority of the team compared to the male athletes. So lots of good stuff. Love it. But on to topics related to talent. So, people are trying to hire people right now. I mean, who's not struggling? You guys have shared some of what you guys have been doing as far as recruiting and hiring recruiters, which I love hearing about. Like, who are we trying to hire, for ourselves and folks who are in our industry? But, because there are so many people desperate to hire right now, one of the things I wanted to talk about is I think everyone is trying to get creative with either how they recruit, how they brand, how they get themselves, candidates in the door for interviews. And so there's some interesting things we want to talk about. But first question is like, what's the weirdest thing you've seen people doing to hire, or most interesting? So I'll share one, and then Chris, I'd love to hear what you're seeing and hearing, but let's start with the weird. So I think this was a Wendy's nearby me that was offering, and they put it on their billboard. First, they put on their billboard that they pay $15 an hour. Second was have a free lunch and come in to interview. And so I'm like, is that going to work? Or are you just going to get a bunch of people who want a free, like, spicy, crispy chicken sandwich? Because I do like Wendy's crispy chicken sandwiches in the sandwich war. Not that I'm eating a lot of chicken these days, but like, I might go in just for the sandwich. Like, I just thought that was weird, but I don't know. What else? What are you seeing that's weird, Chris?
I think the weirdest thing I'm seeing is people not doing anything differently.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like not modifying, like based on everything that's going on. So I'm not like, I've seen some of those things like you, Jessica, but the weirdest thing is not changing anything. I think we've talked about it before. The other thing is you really have to watch, the quick turn. Mm-hmm. You have to do a better job when you're lucky enough to land someone in any job. Just like securing them in the first 60 to 90 days because they were probably working off another offer or another one's coming in after they make the commitment to you. So for me, the weirdest thing is not doing anything differently.
That's the weirdness. I like that answer. Tim, what's the weirdest thing you're seeing right now?
The only one that I would say is out of the box. So like kind of different from Katie, because I'll agree. I think what we see is more people trying to do more of the same stuff. Hey, last time we made 1 yard sign. This time let's put up 10. Like, no, guess what? The 1's not going to work. The 10 didn't work. Like the way that people are doing it. I got a press release the other day from a tech company announcing that they were doing this kind of grandiose, like we're gonna bring people in and we're gonna like do this cohort and teach them how to do digital marketing. That's what it was all about. And it was a digital marketing technology company. Well, what they were trying to do was hire digital marketing reps, but like they made it sound like it was this kind of this different thing. Like you had a chance to like apply to be a part of this big thing and you're going to be brought in, and yet like I clicked on the link and went right to the job description of the ATS. I'm like,
Mm.
but it was a press release and I'm like, oh man, like I don't even know, like at least you could like come up with a landing page or something, make it look different, but nope. So it was an actual press release announcing like some program that they were doing to make it almost like it was like recidivism, but like they weren't taking like prisoners and teaching them how to be digital marketers.
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things you had sent around, Tim, that I thought was interesting also, I don't know that I would call this weird. I think definitely in the vein of trying something different, whether or not it's effective, who knows, but brands getting in on, of course, the TikTok game to do some recruitment. And one noteworthy one in particular being Chipotle, that was doing quite a bit to recruit through the platform, as well as using
Mm-hmm.
influencers in that space. And I think like one of the things I thought was interesting is actually their chief diversity and inclusion and people officer, who was really positioning it this way. She was saying, given the current hiring climate and our strong growth trajectory, essential that we're trying to find new platforms to engage in meaningful career conversations with Gen Z, and that TikTok has been ingrained in Chipotle's DNA for some time now, and now they're using it to evolve their presence and bring top talent into our restaurants, is what she was saying. But like, I don't know, TikTok to recruit, like, is this going to get us somewhere? Is this just like flavor? I feel like this is like, we've had this conversation probably for the past 15 years as each new social media channel comes up on the rise. Is this just yet another thing, or is this maybe going to work given the climate we're in? I don't know. I'm seeing some skeptical looks from the two of
I
you.
actually really love. Okay, so what Chipotle did was clearly put some money behind like an influencer. So their TikTok channel has 1.5 million followers,
Mm.
and they went out and got somebody that was a former Chipotle employee, like on the line making burritos, and she has 3.5 million followers. And they had her come in and do a 3-minute TikTok on, oh, I'm going to stop by in the location I worked and say hi to people. Oh, I'm making guacamole. This is what I love to do. Oh, I'm going to make a new menu item. So there was part marketing of Chipotle, right? New menu item. Their guacamole's fresh, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, she was going around saying, what's the best thing about working here, to like 4 or 5 of, former coworkers.
Mm.
And that thing got, hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm sure they, put in links and everything like that to get people to, come and apply. I do think that's more employment market or like recruitment marketing, right? So I think it's super smart. I think that's the way to do it. I think when I talk to organizations and they want to do TikTok, I'm like, you just can't go and have your like associate recruiter or recruiting intern run your TikTok. I mean, you can have them run your TikTok, but if they have no following or they're not a TikToker themselves, like you have to go out within your own like environment and find out, hey, who's way into this? Who has a following? Who can we, and then, kind of go there. Can you think about like Marriott? Out of the what millions of employees you guys have, JLee, like worldwide, you have to have a handful of TikTokers out there that have huge followings that you
Oh,
guys
sure.
leverage from an employee brand advocacy. The question is like you got to go find them, right? So how would you do that? Like if I'm running a big enterprise shop, I'm actually having a TikTok competition across the enterprise. I'm
Love
gonna
that.
set up a channel branded, and I'm gonna have people come and put up TikToks and do all the stuff, and I'm gonna have whatever it might be. If we have some actual marketing like influencers that we've worked with on a brand, maybe we're gonna have them do the duets and make fun of some stuff or do whatever, but like create some noise around it, and then from there figure out how do I leverage this big network of people to get them to like keep seeing our crap and come apply, come work here.
Hey, I'm Katie Van Horn.
And I'm Jackie Clayton.
We're your hosts of the Inclusive AF podcast, where we take on DEI, leadership, and HR without all the corporate fluff.
That's right. We've got decades of experience, a lot of opinions, and zero tolerance for performative anything.
Every week, we dig into what it really takes to build inclusive workplaces with honesty, strategy, and a few side eyes.
We'll talk about the tough stuff, power dynamics, privilege, what's broken in the system, and how we can all do better.
And don't worry, it's not all heavy. We bring receipts, laughs, and real talk from people actually doing the work.
Think of it as your weekly dose of truth, tips, and a little tea to help you lead with intention and show up for your people.
So if you're ready to push past the buzzwords and get into the actual work of inclusion,
you're in the right place. So subscribe to the Inclusive AF podcast.
New episodes drop every week.
Catch us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll be here breaking it down one inclusive convo at a time.
You know what? I'm going to take us down a bunny trail, but I want to come back to you, Chris, on this topic. So in our L&D organization at Marriott, we actually have a TikTok influencer who hails from Alabama, Kristen. She lives in Alabama presently, just works virtually for us. But she blew up on TikTok because she is a foster mom, like on the side, and fosters teen girls specifically. And she blew up on TikTok because, and it's like we cry when we talk about the story because it's so amazing. Her presence is all about what it's like to be a foster mom for teenagers, and what she does to help them feel welcome into her home. And it's yielded like sponsorship from Shake Shack, because one of her go-to moves is they first come to her house and she takes them to Shake Shack first, and she wants to just like, make them feel at ease. And it's like, and she now literally has like, if not, tens of thousands of followers, like 100,000 plus followers, and just blowing up. Her TikToks have millions of views, but perfect example of, she probably could drop a seed at some point to be like, well, this is my, side job. My day job is this, but of course we'd want her to do it.
I'm a foster mom. I get all these girls to come work at my hotel. Like that's
but so Chris, though, like what Tim is talking about though, and like with Chipotle, obviously they put money behind it, and maybe you work for a smaller mid-sized company. You're not going to have the budget to do that. Like, is that viable to like see who amongst your own, employee population may have a presence? I mean, I think this is like one of the perennial issues with using social to recruit, whether it's TikTok or other channels. Like, if you're not a big brand and you're a small to medium sized business, like, is this even viable? Should you be on there? Is this just like trying to get on the latest fad and trend?
Like, my reaction is that it's a good idea. You both mentioned that we've been down this road with other platforms before. I think Chipotle and other organizations where it fits their brand and they have like a big need, like in a position where they recruit, like if you recruit hundreds, certainly thousands or tens of thousands of the same positions, you should, of the same position rather, you should make that investment like on the employment branding side. It just makes sense. What I don't fully recognize is it becomes harder as the jobs get fragmented. So one of the things that Tim Sackett sent us earlier today is he sent us, I believe, Tim, you sent us the NBA, National Basketball Association, right?
Yep.
The jobs they had on TikTok resumes. And you had one guy from Detroit who was in there, but then TikTok resumes, at least at this juncture for the NBA, very much becomes just a normal job board. And the majority of the jobs just have text. They don't have the intro via like a video that was recorded on TikTok. Right, Tim?
I know. Yeah. Isn't that, to me, that was one of the things I like. So shout out to TikTokResumes.com. It's actually, I thought it was an actual separate company from TikTok, but it's not. They actually tried to start this on their own, which again, I think is super smart, because Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, none of those idiots have figured out how to, monetize like the job board side of this. So
it's true.
Good for TikTok for trying to get this done, but a huge miss for not having like, hey, we're going to ask people to produce a TikTok to actually apply to this job. Oh, but for our job description, we're going to give you the static 1993 job description. Like, come on. Like, why are we doing that? That's ridiculous. Like, you should be forced as the hiring person, as a recruiter, to do a TikTok to tell the people like, hey, this is the job.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Detroit Pistons page, and there's one enterprising person, and they probably said, "Hey, you need to do this." Looking for really a creative intern, and he taped a good one. Selling point: we've got the first round draft choice, but then you go through a list of other things, and it's like account executive. And this is true for the Pistons, true, and this would be true in a lot of companies. So there's some automated way, Tim, probably to upload like job postings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you don't have the creative on the front end, I'm not sure that it really calls for interaction, right?
Yeah.
By the way, do we know how much it costs to like post jobs or get a brand presence up on TikTok resumes.com?
I don't, but they got some big brands out there. So people are obviously putting some money at it, trying to give it along. The whole thing comes back to, we all watch TikToks, on a daily basis, if not a weekly basis kind of thing. I just think like the amount of individuals, the amount of views, how they can segment, how strong their algorithm is, dang well, they know all the nurses on TikTok. And if I'm a big health system in New York City and I need nurses, I better get my butt out there and figure out how do I get in that algorithm with some really great content of why you need to come work for our hospital or whatever that might be. I agree, Katie, as you start to get very specific in like, hey, I'm a GM and I have, 127 different engineering jobs. Yeah. But you could still go and say, look, we're looking for, right, electrical engineers, industrial engineers, mechanical, whatever. I think there's ways to get that done. I think it really gets back to, having some marketing chops to understand what people are going to click through. And by the way, I think with all of this, and one of the reasons that no one really ever went crazy on Twitter or Instagram, there's a huge risk, right? JLee, like if you have this foster mom out there and, great story, love it, but she's going out there and she becomes the face of Marriott from like a hiring standpoint on TikTok. And all of a sudden you find out something bad and then it becomes this black eye, right? And so everyone freaks out from a brand perspective and says, no, we have to make this whitewashed vanilla kind of crappy content. And then no one clicks on it. I mean, they want to click on the foster mom who's crying and telling these great stories. But so there's always a little bit of risk. I mean, say a little bit. Sometimes there's a lot of risk associated with these kind of social media platforms in recruiting. But if you're willing to have some of that risk, you can get some really good returns, I think.
I mean, speaking of risk, I have a friend that was trying to get something approved at her company, and with her legal department, with trying to leverage an influencer from an employment branding perspective. The influencer, for those who know of this social media personality, was the Fat Jewish. The Fat Jewish was hiring, was out to be able to take ads and do whatever sponsored content, including with employers, and the lawyers could not get on board with, but the influencer is called the Fat Jewish. They're like, first of all, why? That's not nice to call someone fat.
Well,
and why
he
are
calls
they
himself
called
that.
the Fat Jewish? Like, why are we calling out his religion? And they were like, no, you don't understand it, lawyers. Like, he calls himself the Fat Jewish. This is not us calling him, anything about his size or what he believes in. This is his name. And like the lawyers truly could not get over it. And they were like, we're not going to partner with someone called the Fat Jewish. We're going to get in trouble. Too much risk.
So Jay, but that's why I think smaller employers can have a much bigger impact on social than bigger brands, because bigger brands are so risk adverse because they have so much to lose. And if you're a manufacturing company in Detroit, Michigan with 500 employees, you could blow up on TikTok and go crazy. And what's really the risk, right? Like you have 500 employees, there's a less risk there, I think, than when you're saying, oh, I have 500,000 employees and I have this worldwide brand that I have to protect that's worth billions, trillions of dollars, whatever that might be. So I do think you can actually have it goes both ways. If you're willing to spend really big money and do professional, you can blow up, or you have to be pretty risky and aggressive and go small. Either way kind of works. If you try to stay in the middle and stay safe, that doesn't work.
I think the other thing I would say is when it comes to TikTok resumes, just kind of bouncing around the site, this is more of a candidate experience, like branding play, because I can create a video resume and I can submit it to a job, but at least at the current point, nor should it be. It's not an ATS. I'm going to get some type of interaction. To Tim's earlier point, maybe you said this, Jessica, it's almost a sourcing play.
Yeah.
Where you want to get people like emotionally invested who would be a good fit. And then like once you like figure out they're a good fit, you're going to move them over to your normal workflow, right?
Yep.
So what you're saying is that you don't have to be OFCCP compliant in leveraging TikTok resumes. Like I just shudder thinking about I don't even know the definition.
Like if I was selling TikTok resumes and the first thing like that you told me was OFCCP, like I would go click.
But no,
not
but
the platform
Jessica,
for you.
but that you both, Katie, you guys bring up a great point, because when you read, like they even TikTok resumes even is like kind of like, hey, they're still tiptoeing around the legal aspects of this. And I think having the job description actually hurts them. I think I would say no job descriptions. You're going to do a job posting within a TikTok video just to tell people what this is all about. And if they have interest, they can send you a video. And then from there, you guys can start going down the legal aspects of actually applying for a job. Because I think the job description is going to hurt them, because you're going to run into big companies and lawyers and OFCCP, HR pros that are going to freak out about this stuff and go, wait a minute, this can't happen,
Yeah. And by the way, if you go into all these jobs, so I'm digging into Forever 21, Jessica, right now, location Miami, brand ambassador. All I can do, like I can't officially apply.
Interesting.
Is that true, Tim? Hold on.
Yeah. No, you don't apply. Well, you apply I don't even know if they call it apply, but you actually send your your interest in through this TikTok, and they ask you a question like, hey, do you actually have the skills for this job?
Okay. So I just clicked through, and you're right.
Yeah.
So I may be like forced out of the Forever 21 app process. So here's what it says, just for purposes. So you say yes, like I do fit this. I'm ready to go. First name, last name, email address, confirm email address, your TikTok video resume link, okay, and then your LinkedIn profile. Encouraged, but optional. And then, of course, I'm not a robot, and away you go. Yeah. So.
By the way, though, they're very clear on you cannot submit a link of your general TikTok profile. Like they want you to do an actual TikTok resume. Other thing that's also cool, by the way, now I'm clicking around. There's a company called Homie Marketing Engine, and they talk about being a homie.
Be my homies.
Yo, homie.
You guys are my homies.
Is that? Hey, homie, that's kind of cute. We're a bunch of homies. This is my homie. Well, TikTok resumes, I think this is interesting. Probably, I think I'm on the same page. This is more of an employer brand play, maybe high up in the funnel, capture some interest. Mm-hmm. But I guess the question for the two of you before we move on from this, if your kids were hey, should I do a TikTok resume? I don't know. How do you approach as a professional in this space, them doing a TikTok resume? And I just feel it's a whole other space of do's and don'ts that I don't even know that I would know how to advise someone on. What would you do? Are you going to advise them, or do we need to ship them out to some Gen Z recruiter who knows more about this?
Tomorrow on the Tim Sackett project, I have a 5-step process of putting your TikTok resume together. No, I
know you do. Yeah,
I have not. But I probably do one just to have fun with it and see. But no, I think if you're a brand that's going to accept a TikTok resume, you know what you're going to get, or you should know what you're going to get. You're going to get TikToks, and they're going to be people that are somewhat creative, having fun. And so let them be them. That's what you're hiring,
Hey,
the done kids are going to be allowed to create TikTok resumes?
No,
well,
they're not even allowed on TikTok.
The pro tip here, going into the FAQs, the pro tip is that these have to be public videos. Mm-hmm. So you want to make your video public. To your point, JLee, it can't be your general one. You want to do something very specific. You want to apply, and then you want to go delete all that stuff.
Hey, by the way, the other thing would be, pro tip would be, if I'm the HR side of this, and I'm asking people to produce a TikTok one, I'm also going to do the hashtag thing, because that really runs the algorithm as well. And so that's why they want in public, because they want to put the hashtags in and then they get more juice on the algo.
Listen to Tim, the TikTok expert, referring to algos. Wow.
This is why he is my, what's the right word, Tim?
TikTok curator.
Curator. You're my curator on TikTok. I only take the 5 best ones a day, and they come from Tim Sackett. Imagine what those are, Jessica Lee.
I don't even want to imagine. Chinese synchronized divers, grooming habits, and I don't know what.
By the
else.
way, since we've said that out loud, it's now going to be on my TikTok. Thank you very much.
It definitely
Hashtag
will be.
it.
Definitely will be. Well, TikTok, interesting that they're playing in this space. They're not naive with this. Like if you click around on the site, I also think one of the things that's interesting is, some of who's being profiled, like right at the upfront around, like they've got some images of, people with TikTok resumes, and they've clearly showcased someone diverse from an ethnicity perspective. They've got some age diversity in there for like one of the first people who's profiled. It's, presumably an older gentleman over 40. He may look that. I hope if you're under 40, I don't mean to offend this man either, but so like someone's advising them around like this is not just going to be a platform for young people or for whatever. So I think it's interesting. They're playing in this space. They're doing their thing, and they're gonna help push us all to do better and not be like those people Chris is talking about who just aren't thinking about things in any kind of creative way and are still doing their same old. Chris,
there's nothing more desperate than the 53-year-old guy who's cutting his first TikTok video and trying to do a resume out like with it. That's the most desperate action. I mean, I'm just saying he'll get better, but that first one, whew, that's going to be
first cuts only.
Train wreck.
I should do a TikTok channel where we just first cuts only. You can't do another one. It's just first cuts only.
He's got his camera up to do it because he's seen it, and it's taking a shot of the corner of his ceiling and his wall. It's a tough look for my guy. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Well, let's see how many months until HireVue, Greenhouse, these other recruiting technology companies start to move in this direction, give you the option to upload your, TikTok answer to interview questions.
Instagram resume. Yep. We'll be at HR Tech. InstagramResume.com.
It's all coming. Can't wait to see them on the floor of, hopefully with all these variants we'll get there, but on the showroom floor, whatever it's called, when all the booths are there. But TikTok resumes, love it. Olympics, love it. Now concerned about people's grooming habits, but we'll save that for another day. That's what we've got for you folks. Another episode of HR Famous. I'm Jessica Lee. He's Chris Dunn. The other he is Tim Sackett, and we are out.